Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. I wanted to make sure that since we didn't get to go through the rest of this form, that I gave you a supplement recording so that you just had an idea as we walked through it, how to use it. The remaining parts, I will use the examples that I'd originally populated it with. But as always, if you have questions, please let me know. This is a document, as we already ascertained, for you to use as you see fit. I would suggest saving an original and then augmenting any subsequent versions as you so choose, but keeping this original, keeping all of the options because you never know when it may come in handy. I also know that we start out with an example in real life that I really wanted to tackle, but Jenny was right. It was way too big for the time that we had together. I should have requested something a little bit more simple, but hopefully you'll understand with the remaining examples and pages. I will go quickly through these segments, but I just didn't want you to leave without the opportunity to hear my thoughts on how to use the document. So with that said, the next section that we have is clarify the key message by segment. And I've highlighted, though the tone specifics may shift across segments, everyone receives the same root message, the objective plus purpose, as we talked about in section 1, page 1. So be consistent with your root message across the segments. We have both example 1 and example 2 filling in different cells for the table at this point. So for the following questions, as I described earlier, as you can see, it says segment 1 in this cell right here, and it's followed by several questions, and then segment 2, segment 3, segment 4. Basically, what I'm saying is, as you move through the segments, if you have multiple segments, ask these same questions so you have consistent answers to set you up for writing consistent messaging for different channels, for different audiences in different ways. So for example, what is there a historical aspect to the root message? Well, for example, 2, the one that we're writing about collaboration for the shared services team, the historical aspect may be collaboration is the first principle from the original value statement written by our founder, Kermit E. Frog, over 80 years ago next year. We want to get back to our basic values and emphasize the importance of collaboration during our 80th anniversary celebration. As you can see, that's a little bit more robust explainer statement, gives you or whoever the reader is the opportunity to understand how to use that historical element in different promotions or writing it in different ways, again, off that root message that collaboration is what we want to do with our people. An example for what challenges do you know about now and how do you expect to meet them? If we apply that to example 1, which is the return to office root message, then we would say IT hardware setup will require additional time once people are in the office. We plan to have all wiring and utilities work completed before return to office, but each department will need to follow the schedule of deployment for service techs to finish their job. Communicate that people should check with their manager if they need further information. So that's just a way to explain what the challenges that you anticipate to come across are. And this is a good place to hold it to the side so you can consistently address it over the various messages over the different channels. I hope you see how I'm building off of it here. I know that I don't need to read word for word what these rows and columns say because I'm going to be giving this document to you, but I hope that you will look at the rest of this document through this lens using the examples that I've provided, and that maybe it's a little bit more clear than it was walking through section 2. Section 3 goes on to say, customize the content areas for specific segments. So if we were thinking of example 1, the facilities segment, we'd want to think about custom content ideas such as recognition for doing hard work unnoticed, clarity of process so they know how to handle questions and issues, and high quality documentation to get the job done, plus contact info for questions. What we're trying to do is we're trying to take the elements of what we know about that segment and what they hold nearest and dearest in their heart, what they value the highest, and we're trying to make this root message impactful for them. So we are trying to connect the root message and the way that we are nuancing that message as we segment it specifically to that group of people. Find out what they value and write toward it. Create the story that supports what they really believe will be the way that they'll benefit from this message or this change or this initiative or this program. That campaign, we want to write toward them in a way that allows them to feel seen, heard, and valued. So for section 4, create a list of deliverables. We did this from a really high level earlier on in section 1. This is your opportunity to drill down a little deeper to talk about the different forms or documents or links or graphics that you might need to build, and to forecast that, identify who would be responsible for helping you with that, and letting them know ahead of time how to fit in with your timeline and what the due dates are so that they can meet them and be helpful rather than a hindrance. You'll want to create a distribution flow chart. You'll want to coordinate your content calendar. So think up or anticipate the number of messages within the campaign that you'll need to distribute, or the number of campaigns that are going on at any given time. Look at all of these line items and try and anticipate how you can create your campaign with the right number of touches. I know that that's important as we talked about Alexis project. And with the right number of touches, that it's placed in the content calendar in a way that it does not overlap or step on any other messaging, or vice versa. Other messages don't step on the very important change communication that you're trying to share. Again, this is a way to visualize the kind of messaging traffic going in and going out. Your content calendar is your visual friend in this circumstance. And all of this work in the messaging campaign model is designed to help you utilize the tools that you worked through creating that foundation prior to engaging in this activity. As we look at section 5 and we're identifying what types of content we're creating, remember that we already designated the channels that we're going to be working with. So the channels, to a certain degree, drive the type of content that we'll be creating. It's great to have it written down here, though, just another way to refine your thought process, make sure you're not missing anything. Also, another great way of getting all of this information out of your head onto paper and in a format that you can easily bring people in to collaborate with you. Or, as we touched on several times earlier, if what you're trying to do is to get additional manpower to help you out, this is a good document in its entirety to be able to show leadership that you either need more people on your team, or, as I'm finding organizations are interested in doing right now, which is a little bit different than they had, let's say, 5 years ago, is tapping into the entrepreneurial spirit of your workforce. So for example, if you needed graphics created for your newsletter on the regular, maybe you tap that person who likes to do that as their hobby, or maybe that's their second career, and ask them if they want to be part of the ongoing internal comms project and use their skills to create the graphics for your newsletter. So, think creatively. The people who like to write, or the people who like to, volunteer as customer service, might be the perfect people to go out and help you check out different departments or beats if you have them. Or they might be the perfect people to man that get more info button or email or phone line that you use to create that feedback mechanism that we discussed. So let me just scroll down here. Here at the bottom, we're going to talk about, content distribution management process. Again, it doesn't sound like any of you have a distribution management process that you need to necessarily engage in this part of the table for, but it's here if you have it. And then at the bottom, it says, campaign ideas. If you know your root message and you know very little about the campaign, but you know it's necessary to create at some point in the future during this year, you can fill this out as you go along, little by little. And if you write your campaign ideas in this block at the bottom, it can become a living document that grows as you get more information, or you, establish a better idea of who you need to be talking to or what you need to be talking about. This planning doc is designed to serve a multitude of functions, but predominantly it's meant to organize your thoughts and organize your tasks. It's meant to be helpful. It's not meant to be overwhelming. So if you can look at it from the standpoint that it's got all the bells and whistles and you don't need to have all the bells and whistles, you can just use it to build the framework and let it help guide you as you go. Hopefully this will be a tool that becomes valuable to you. Some of the suggestions at the bottom, really, I should have started with that when we had our discussion. It would have made our examples probably a little bit more concise and complete for the day. So, talking about campaigns that revolve around pride of employment or internal communications projects or enterprise commitment to care, benefits and well-being programs, all of these things that I've listed at the bottom in the bullet points, staff spotlight and recognition, those are the really easy ones to deploy around this type of document. The more complex change management messaging that both of you, Jen and Alexis, are dealing with, it becomes very complex when you try and use this tool. And I'm happy to talk you through it, but these smaller, more general, typical campaigns, when you're not going through change, really lend themselves to using this document. So I hope that this has been helpful as a little bit of an add-on from our discussion this afternoon. I also just really want to thank you for taking the time to go through this with me, and I'm looking forward to our meeting in October. Do not forget to schedule your additional meetings with me as you see fit. Check in with me, let me know how things are going. Shoot me an email if I don't see you at the next two upcoming events. But I really want to just say thanks, and I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.